Alright, so today I was looking in my Ball Python egg incubator, and sure enough I actually found another box of Ball Python eggs that are just starting to hatch. I actually saw a couple of little Ball Python hatchling heads just peeking out of the egg. So what I want to do today is I'm going to pull those eggs out, use a scissors to cut the eggs open a little bit more, kind of peek inside, kind of get a sneak peek as far as the results of this breeding. And this is a pretty interesting cross. I actually crossed my pastel Enchi Desert Ghost male. It's a visual Desert Ghost. Desert Ghost is recessive, so actually has two copies of the gene. And kind of the interesting thing when you work pastel in with the Desert Ghost, it makes a really super bright combination. Let me tell you, the pastel Desert Ghost combinations are probably one of my favorites in all the Ball Pythons. I actually crossed that male with a female that's het for Desert Ghost. So half of these offspring should be visual Desert Ghosts, which is pretty amazing. So the female is actually a pastel calico het Desert Ghost. So we should get pastel, super pastel, pretty much the crown jewel of this would be the super pastel Enchi calico Desert Ghost visual, which would be pretty awesome. And another thing, kind of the interesting thing about this clutch is that I actually did the same pairing last year, and to my surprise, I actually got a visual Desert Ghost because I didn't know the female was het for Desert Ghost. And then after I sold all the hatchlings, someone actually chimed in and said on one of those hatchlings from this pairing, they thought, hey, that kind of looks like either a Krypton or a Cryptic, which I hadn't really realized that I had that maybe floating around in my collection. So if you're familiar with the Krypton and the Cryptics, the Cryptic is a recessive gene, and it's also compatible with Clown. So you can have het for Clown and het for Cryptic, which gives you a visual called a Krypton, which is kind of wild. I actually did a video review of the Krypton and the Cryptics and kind of looked a little bit deeper into that project. It's one of the kind of the lesser known projects that it seems like a lot of people are just kind of finding it in their collection, just kind of popping up. So today I'm definitely going to look for the Krypton and the Cryptics, and usually you can tell if you have that combination, usually you'll have some striping down the neck of the snake that kind of gives you an indication that you have either Krypton or the Krypton and the Cryptics look exactly the same. So the Krypton is recessive. It's basically a double het for Clown and het for Cryptic that looks exactly like two copies of the Cryptic gene. It gets a little bit confused. So possibly I could actually have that floating around in this combination. So, you know, there's a whole bunch of genes in here. And a lot of times when I'm cutting the eggs, I kind of guess right at the beginning. I'm like, what in the world is this? And I kind of throw out these random guesses as far as what I have, you know, as far as the genes and the hatchling, kind of looking at this slimy ball inside of the egg. And a lot of times I am not correct on my identification looking at until they come completely out of the egg. It's really hard to tell exactly what you have, but it'll be pretty interesting to cut these eggs open and see what they look like, just kind of a sneak peek into the eggs. So let's jump over. I want to pull this box out of the incubator and we'll cut these eggs open. Probably the most exciting part of the year for any Ball Python breeder. Alright, so here's the box fresh out of the incubator, and there's two things you need for egg cutting. First, you need the scissors, of course, to cut the eggs open. Another thing you definitely need is a lot of paper towels. This can get really super messy with these goopy Ball Pythons just coming out of the eggs. So this would be pretty awesome. I just kind of peeked through the side. I saw one little head peeking out of the eggs. So it'll be interesting to see what is going on in this clutch. Wow. At first glance, this doesn't look too good. It looks like a whole bunch of normals just kind of peeking out of the egg. What are the odds of that? So the odds can really work, you know, for you or against you in your favor, which is kind of wild. So yeah, hopefully we have something more than just a bunch of normals, which is kind of wild. So I'm going to start with this one right here. So take a look at this one. This one looks pretty much like a normal Ball Python. Not a good way to start. I'd say that is, so this is, well, everything is 100% het Desert Ghost. So that is, looks like a normal het Desert Ghost. This guy's almost coming all the way out, which is kind of crazy. I really don't want him to come out. Look at that guy, he actually went all the way back in. So take a look at this one. This one looks like, so the Desert Ghost is going to be kind of hard to actually see on this one. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna start, maybe I'll cut that one open a little bit more so we can kind of get a good, kind of a sneak peek at what it looks like. Well, this one looks like it's got something going on. Maybe we'll hit something. It's kind of hard to tell just from the head sticking out of the egg. So hopefully we hit something pretty good. I'm gonna zoom in just a little bit here, and then we'll cut this guy open. It looks like this one's at least a pastel on this one. But yeah, so we have pastel, super pastel, Enchi, Calico, Desert Ghost, or Cryptic or Krypton that can actually be in this mix right here. So yeah, it's gonna be kind of hard. So this one's kind of interesting. I have no clue what that. I'd say it's at least a pastel in this one. Doesn't really look like a super pastel. It's a lot brighter than a normal. I don't think it's a pastel Desert Ghost. I think the Desert Ghost, well, I don't know. It's really hard to tell just coming out of the egg. So that's going to be kind of the hard part, the difference between the pastel and the all the other pastel Desert Ghost. I'd say that's at least a pastel. I don't think it's anything other than just a pastel on that one, which is kind of odd. So we have one that is completely out. Look at this one. Well, I guess it's well, no, this one is completely out. Take a look at that. So it looks like we have a normal, which is head for Desert Ghost, and we have a pastel, and then we have this one. Take a look at that. So that's pretty interesting. Yeah, so the identification on these could be a little bit tricky. This almost looks like, well, I don't know if that's Desert Ghost or not. It's pretty bright. It's definitely a pastel. Could be a pastel Enchi. And, you know, looking at the sides, this could be a visual Desert Ghost on this one. It seems like it's really super bright. I'm thinking maybe a pastel Enchi Desert Ghost on that one. Look at how faded out the head is. I'm not sure if that's from, I don't know if this could be super pastel. Maybe super pastel Enchi Desert Ghost. You look kind of look at the head. Usually with the cryptics and the kryptons, you'll actually have some striping right down the head on the sides of the neck, which I don't really see on this one. So this one could be kind of an interesting combination. I'm not even exactly sure what this is. I'd say my guess on this one, this could be a pastel Enchi Desert Ghost. This almost looks like my male as far as that one. So that is pretty awesome. So that's 3 right there. And they're really hard to tell just coming out of the egg, just kind of peeking in. Yeah, and my identification with these, since I haven't really worked with a lot of the Desert Ghost stuff, so I'll have to actually look online and make sure as far as the identification in with the Desert Ghosts. Let's see if I can, this guy's got like his head stuck in here. Let's see if I can get his head unstuck. It's kind of crazy how they get their heads kind of stuck in the egg like that. Alright, so we got this guy out. Alright, so this one, boy, this one's looking pretty normal. I don't know about that one. That looks pretty normal on that one. It doesn't really look yellow enough to be a pastel. I don't think it's reduced enough to be Enchi. Oh, that is crazy. I think that one's just a normal, and you really can't see the neck on this one to see if it's the cryptic or the krypton. But that one looks like another normal. So I think we have 2 normals and maybe a pastel I'm thinking maybe this one is a pastel enchi or a super pastel. I'm not sure on the one that's completely out. So we have 4 more here. So let's take a look at another one. Yeah, these are a little bit tricky because I'm not used to working with this particular combination of genes. This is only like the second time I've done it before, so sometimes when you do like a new combination or something like that, it's a little bit tricky to identify them, especially just kind of peeking in the egg like this, which is kind of wild. These guys are definitely ready to come out. This one looks like another normal. What are the odds? What are the odds? Look at that. Look at that. That is unbelievable. All those genes, and how do you pop out a normal? It could be pastel, super pastel, enchi. I don't even think it's enchi. I don't even think it's calico in this one. That's like the worst odds ever on this clutch. Wow. So that one looks like maybe Het Desert Ghost. Oh my goodness. That is ridiculous. So sometimes you hit really good odds and sometimes you get handfuls of normals. It seemed like last year I kind of had a bad year where I was getting a whole bunch of normals, which was kind of crazy. Alright, so let's try it again. This one looks kind of interesting. And this one, let's see what we can see on this one. This one looks like it could be a calico. It definitely has kind of a reddish color on this one. I'm gonna open it up just a little bit more. You can definitely tell on my version of calico, it's kind of like a reddish, almost like a coppery color. Sometimes even though the pattern's not really reduced that much, you can definitely tell from kind of the coppery color. Doesn't look like it's pastel, just looks like a calico in this one. You can almost see the neck on this one. I don't think it's the krypton or the cryptic on this one either. I don't know, that could have been just a fluke on that last one last year. You would think you get more of them. Well, of course, if they're both hets, then it'd be like 1 out of 4 odds as far as kind of hitting the krypton of the cryptics. So we have 2 more eggs. Not looking really good. I was actually hoping for more super pastels, what I was actually hoping for. And one year I actually hit a whole bunch of super pastels, which, you know, statistically you could actually hit the super pastel. I think it's like 1 in 4 you'd hit the super pastel. But to get a bunch of kind of like what I got now is kind of like not exactly what I was kind of shooting for here. Alright, so let's take a look at this one. Ooh, look at that one. That one is pretty wild. Take a look at that one. Wow. That one definitely has calico. This one might have, wow. Alright, so we're doing pretty good on this one. Looks like we had a whole bunch of genes on this one. This looks like it could be a super pastel calico, which would be kind of the crown jewel on this one, which is, well, there's also enchi in here. I don't know if it's, maybe it could have enchi. I don't think so. I think enchi would be more reduced than that. But it seems like with the super pastel and the calico, you get a kind of a really brightening effect like that. So I'm thinking either pastel or I'm thinking probably super pastel calico on that. I don't think there's enchi. And of course that one is Het for Desert Ghosts. Alright, we have 1 more. Let's see if we can hit some better odds. Better odds. We need some better odds on this combination. Alright, so, alright, let's take a look at this one. See if you can bring it up in the light a little bit here. This one looks like another nice calico. Looks like it might have some pastel in it too. Alright, let's see. Oh, we don't want them to come out. But usually with the calico by itself, you kind of get the reddish color. And this one's another either, I think it's just a pastel calico in that one. I'm not sure if there's enchi. Sometimes if you get enchi in the mix, sometimes it's hard to tell, but it doesn't really look like it's reduced enough. I'm thinking this one is just a pastel. I'm kind of trying to look at the top of the head, which I really can't see in there too much. I'm thinking it's just a pastel calico on that one. I don't think it's super pastel, although it's really hard to tell on that one. So yeah, that's not too bad. Yeah, so those are pretty awesome with the pastels. Or I'm thinking, well, if you actually look at them side by side, I'm thinking maybe this one that's a little bit lighter. Oh, I'm thinking maybe that's a super pastel enchi calico right there with all the genes, because it's kind of got a really mixed up wild pattern. This one is not quite as light as that one. You get a little bit more of a yellow color. I think that is just from one copy of the pastel with the calico. And then of course this one that's completely out. This is definitely, I'm thinking a pastel enchi. I'm not convinced though. This one almost looks like it could be bright enough to be a visual desert ghost on this one. So that's the other thing on these other two. I don't know. These possibly could be desert ghosts too. So yeah, so I'm not exactly sure what's what. So yeah, so until they're completely out, what I actually need to do is I need to go on Morphmarket and actually double check, especially after they shed for the first time. That's usually the easiest. But you know, I've never really produced these snakes before, so I'm not exactly sure, especially just kind of peeking in the eggs, what exactly they're supposed to look like. But take a look at all those eggs. Pretty awesome combination. Let me tell you, pretty challenging to figure out what they are, just kind of peeking in the eggs before they completely come out all the way. So it'll be kind of interesting when they come out to kind of, you know, do some research and try to figure out exactly what I have on these combinations. I'd say that's probably one of the trickiest parts when you're breeding ball pythons, is trying to figure out exactly what you have for the hatchlings. I've seen a lot of people, you know, go on the forums on the internet, like over on ballpython.net, or a lot of people just do videos and they'll show them, and they'll get a lot of people to kind of chime in the comments. So it's a pretty interesting combination. So we do have, looks like a normal here, normal here. I think we have a calico. Let's see. Yeah, so did we look at this one? I don't think we actually looked at this one. We missed an egg. It's not completely cut open. Take a look at this. Wow, I'm slacking. Let's take a look at this one. This one looks like another calico. Yeah, maybe an enchi with the calico, maybe. So take a look at that. That just looks like, you can kind of see the kind of the reddish brown in there. I think there's no pastel, because the pastel would definitely change it. So that one just looks like, I don't think there's enchi in that one. That one just looks like another calico. All right, so did we open them all? I think we opened them all. All right, so I was hoping for more super pastels, more desert ghosts. It doesn't look like we hit a whole lot. I'm thinking maybe, as far as the desert ghosts, maybe we'll have 3. You know, these with that are really light like this. These could possibly be desert ghost. With these 2 over here, maybe on that one could be desert ghosts, which is kind of, I'd say this is one of the most challenging clutches that I've ever had trying to identify them. So that's pretty exciting. It'll be interesting to see when they actually come out all the way, and we can kind of get a better idea of what they look like, and then try to do a little bit of research and try to figure out exactly what we have with these crazy snakes. Alright guys, so that was pretty exciting. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.